giving a tweet right after the fight. Any response to Terence Crawford, who had something to say?
Yeah, we ain't worried about retired. You know, we focus on testing and taking over this division. We ain't worried about retired fighters.
Yeah, y'all keep on throwing Terence up. Terence up, he'll retire. Leave Terence alone. Let him do what he's supposed to do. Y'all may have fun and enjoy his family.
Made it, baby. And they still want me to come out of retirement and whoop on some people. Hey, what more can I ask for, man? I'm blessed. Life is beautiful, right?
And after stopping Xander Zayas, Boots Ennis did not waste time looking for his next move, and he used that moment to call out Terence Crawford.
That Xander had when it come to Boots, I wasn't worried about nothing at all. When he fights, I don't worry, man. I don't worry at all. They can hear me, brother.
Boots had just finished a young, hungry fighter in Xander, but instead of acting satisfied, he pointed straight toward one of the greatest fighters of this era. And calling out Crawford after a knockout sends a clear message that Boots is not just trying to collect wins because he wants the biggest names and the hardest test.
Right on Friday, was that a realistic fight that you could see him coming out fighting?
Oh,
Crawford?
I mean, I don't know. He retired, so that's what he's doing right now. He retired.
But that also raises the pressure on him because Crawford is not just another champion. He is a smart, dangerous, complete fighter who can punish every mistake. So when Boots says that name, fans immediately start asking the real question of whether Ennis is ready for that level right now, or if the Xander knockout made him feel more unstoppable than he should.
Than him or any other fighters, but what is different about Jaron Ennis than a Terence Crawford, or anyone else for that matter, but specifically Terence?
I'm just different. Y'all know I'm different.
But I remember a couple weeks ago, there's a Gillian Wallow put out a video, and Bud was on the other side saying, I would knock the Boots out. Like, did you watch that? And what was your reaction to that?
Oh man, I'm in camp. I don't even worry about what he retired. I ain't worry about what going on. I'm like that.
Terence Crawford reacted to Boots Ennis's win, and his response made the whole Crawford versus Boots conversation even more interesting because he tweeted that he was going to keep his comments to himself, but that everyone would get it, and he hoped so, which added a different tone to the celebration since Boots got the win and made a statement. But Crawford reminded everyone that calling his name is a completely different level of pressure. Then Boxing Massacre tweeted that Terence Crawford is an OG savage and that Boots is overrated, but Bud would have ended his career, and that the fraud Jaron Ennis should never mention Bud's name in his life. After that, Rick Glazer gave one of the sharpest reactions to the whole Boots Ennis and Terence Crawford debate by saying that if any of you still think Ennis beats Crawford, then Crawford would stop Ennis because a blind man can see that Ennis has a shaky chin and was wobbled 3 times versus Zayas, a non-puncher. So Rick was not impressed enough by the stoppage to say Boots is ready for Crawford, and instead he focused on the moments where Xander was able to touch him, hurt him, and make people question his chin. So while some fans looked at the fight and saw Boots making a statement, Rick saw warning signs. Because in his view, if Zayas could wobble Ennis, then a sharper and more dangerous fighter like Crawford would not just expose those openings, he would finish the job. And according to Boxing Barbecue, they do not think we will get this fight now that Crawford is retired. But as Boots moves on, people will always compare their careers. However, Ray Jackson reacted from the other side of the debate, and he made it clear that he still believes in Boots Ennis against Terence Crawford, tweeting that Boots Ennis will beat the hell out of Crawford. And that reaction shows why this debate is not going away. Because while some people are pointing at Boots's defensive mistakes and saying Crawford would stop him, others still believe Ennis has the size, power, speed, and youth to give Bud real problems. And Ray's tweet was short, but the message was direct that he is not buying the idea that Crawford is automatically too much for Boot. Then Nagy reacted by turning the Boots Ennis and Terence Crawford debate into a question for the whole boxing community, asking Boxing Twitter that if Terence Crawford came out of retirement right now, does he beat Boots? And that question shows exactly where the conversation went after Boots stopped Xander Zayas. Because instead of everyone only celebrating the knockout, fans immediately started comparing Ennis to Crawford, with some people believing Boots is younger, stronger, and active enough to give Bud serious problems. But others think Crawford's timing, experience, defense, and ring IQ would expose every mistake Boots showed against Xander. And after Crawford said he would keep his comments to himself, Boots did not sound bothered by it because, on his side, he had just stopped Xander Zayas, made a statement, and called out the biggest name people keep measuring him against.
And he mentioned a bunch of names and just said, you know, are they going to be easy work or not? You said easy work to everybody, including Terence Crawford. You know, obviously he's had comments to Gilly about saying, you know, that he tried to make a fight with you. You were too young at the time. That's what your team said. Do you think any of this talk gets to a point where you get him to come out of retirement and face you?
Crawford can laugh online and hint that he sees flaws. But if he is retired, then there is no real fight to prove it. Which is why Boots' reaction hit differently, because he was basically putting pressure on Bud by saying that if Crawford really thinks he can beat him, then he should come back and show it instead of staying on the sidelines.
Early Jaron life, like young, but being that you talked about that, I want to mention, because you're so talented in the ring, right?
Yeah.
Right away, as soon as you emerge, the boxing pundits and the public had to match you up with a Terence Crawford, right? Who was at the top of the game right now, because they couldn't see anybody else that could compete with him. So did you take that as a compliment?
I mean, I really don't be paying that stuff too much mind. Like, I be me. You know, I do this for me and my family type stuff. Like,
right.
I know I got to carry my legacy.
Right.
And my brothers did it, you know, at a high level. My dad did it, so I just want to take my next into the level. So I really wasn't like too. When I was coming, I really wasn't too worried about who was this, who was that. Like,
you was focused on what you was trying to do.
I know my task at hand, my task.
So then Boots Ennis responded with the kind of confidence you expect from a fighter who believes he is ready for anybody.
You can switch hit and all of that and do it great from both sides, and I guess that's probably why Canelo welcomed you in the camp for when he was gonna fight Crawford. But how did that come out? Did you guys call them?
Well, him and my brother go way back. You know, my brother was in.
That's right.
It was in camp with, when he fought Mosley, and I think he was in camp for him when he fought Gomez, Alfonso Gomez.
Alfonso Gomez.
Yeah, so he was in camp with him twice, and him and my brother got a great relationship. I'm like, man, great relationship. So I'm like, might as well go out there and, you know, get some sheep. And I was getting ready for my fight, and that was my first fight moving up. So why not spar, you know?
He made it clear that he does not care who is standing in front of him, whether it is Terence Crawford or anyone else, because he believes he will beat them. And that answer was not just about calling out Bud. It was Boots saying the name does not change his mindset. So if Crawford wants it, he is ready. And if another top fighter wants it, he is ready for that too.
Obviously, you were winning big fights, but they attached you to Bud Crawford so much. And now you're at 154. Do you feel a lot stronger at that weight? Like, is it really that weight difference? Does it make a big difference, like making weight?
Yeah, for sure. I feel way stronger this weight class. I should have probably been moved up, but as you know, I was staying down there, you know, trying to, you know, be undisputed down there, and those guys were down there playing around, and so I had to, you know, move up, and then I think that was the best decision I made, because I think I would have stayed at that weight for too long.
I said, there's part of you still wish you can fight him.
He's a retired fighter. If he come back, he come back.
No,
I'm different. I'm trying to tell you.
I believe
different.
that, but
I'm different.
What different, man?
I'm different. I'm trying to tell you, I'm different. Yep.
You know, Boots also talked about the weight difference and how he feels stronger now because moving up has made him feel like his body is carrying the power better, and that confidence showed in the way he spoke, since he was not acting like the bigger weight was a problem, but rather as if it gave him even more room to be dangerous. That matters because when a fighter feels stronger at a new weight, his mindset changes, and Boots already had speed, timing, and confidence. But now he believes the extra strength makes him harder to deal with. So when he says he does not care who is in front of him, it sounds even more serious, and he feels like his body is catching up with his ambition, which makes the Crawford debate even louder.
Ask you that question first. I want to ask you that question first. Can you answer that for me, Boots? If you see this interview and everybody's talking, or Boots fans or whoever it is, and everybody getting mad at me, I'm just asking you. If you're the #1 contender for Earl Spence, why would you let Bud Crawford take your spot? Okay. Now, okay. Fine. I commend you on that, because let's just say you wanted those guys to fight for that way you can be undisputed. Okay, I'm going to let those guys fight because, I want to be undisputed. Okay, so we let you slide on that. Okay. Now, when this fight is made, just like most big fights, there's usually a rematch clause, okay? So with these type of superstar fighters, we know they fight, infrequently. They fight less. It's not gonna be immediate. It's not gonna be. So let's say they fight. How much do you think the time would be for the rematch to happen? Because, like I say...
So Bernie's point made the conversation bigger than hype, because if Boots really wants to be compared to Bud, then he has to prove that his pressure, strength, and confidence can work against a fighter who has already solved elite opponents for years.
I didn't dare to fight Crawford again. Actually, they're going to be trying to get rid of Crawford after that,
Then Bernie the boxer dropped his own take on the Jaron Ennis versus Terence Crawford debate, and his reaction added even more fuel to the argument because he looked at the matchup like a real test of levels since Boots has the youth, size, speed, and confidence, especially now that he feels stronger at the new weight. But Crawford is the kind of fighter who does not just fight with power. He studies, adjusts, sets traps, and makes opponents pay for every mistake, which is why this debate is so heated because Boots can look dangerous against almost anyone. But Crawford is not just anyone. So I just want to ask you that question first.
Tired of hearing about Terence Crawford throughout the build-up to this fight, but he did tweet something that definitely seemed like in relation to this fight without saying much, but, given a tweet right after the fight. Any response to Terence Crawford, who had something to say?
Yeah, we ain't worried about retired. We focus on test and taking over the division. We ain't worried about no retired fighters.
Yeah, y'all keep on throwing Terence up. Terence, he retired. Leave Terence alone. Let him do what he's supposed to do. Y'all may have fun and enjoy his family.
Boot.
And then Jaron Boots Ennis spoke about Terence Crawford, and he did not sound like someone trying to avoid that name because Boots made it clear that Crawford being a legend does not change how he sees the fight since he respects what Bud has done. But he also believes that if Crawford is in front of him, he can beat him like anybody else. And that is the confidence Boots is carrying right now because he is not talking like a fighter who wants easy fights, but like someone who wants the biggest name attached to his era. And after stopping Xander Zayas, that confidence only got louder since Boots feels stronger at the weight. He feels more dangerous. And he believes his power, speed, and pressure can trouble anyone. So when Crawford laughs online or fans question his flaws, Boots' answer is simple.
His fight of his career, biggest stage of his career, and Ennis has been around longer. They're both still young, because Zayas is about 4 years younger. But I think that the most interesting part of this is that Ennis is a guy that's been around, and we've always been waiting to anoint him as the next great one. He was welterweight champ, he cleaned out the welterweights, but he didn't clean them out until Crawford left. That was the fight we wanted.
He cleaned out the welterweights, but he did not clean them out until Crawford left.